And in our next video interview with State Senator Lucio of Brownsville, we're going to talk about his first 10 years at the legislature. And we're focusing on those first 10 years because we want to find out more, drill down a little bit more about the friendship and the working relationship that Senator Lucio had with Lieutenant Governor Bob Bullock, because that was a significant part of your tenure in Austin.
That's right, Steve. Actually, I served in the House of Representatives from 1987 to 2 terms, 4 years, until the end of 1990. I ran in 1990 for the Senate and then got elected, and I've been there ever since. But the first 4 years, I was able to obviously learn the legislative process. I was able to see some changes at the state level when it came to the leadership that took over. And one of the great leaders I served with was Bob Bullock. Bob Bullock had been the Comptroller of Public Accounts. I was the county treasurer in 1972 when he announced. And I was asked by the county judge in Cameron County, my home county, to introduce this young attorney by the name of Bob Bullock, and I said I would. That was a big thing for me because I wanted to meet those people statewide that would be our leaders, and he won. But I learned so much from him. He was somebody that never forgot anything he said or anything anyone else said. And I remember I was in the House of Representatives 1989, my second term before I ran for the Senate, and I remember picking up a newspaper before the session started on the floor of the Senate, and the headlines in the Austin American Statesman was Bullock to run for state comptroller. And I immediately picked up the phone and I called him. I said, Mr. Bullock, I want to be one of the first to call you, sir, and congratulate you. He picked up the phone when I called. It was the office phone. We didn't have the cell phones we have today, but it was in 1989, and he says, I told him I wanted to do anything I could for him here in Cameron County, work hard and be part of his campaign committee, and I wanted to be one of the first to call him. He says, Eddie, you are the first one to call me, and I'll never forget it. And I just said he's being nice, right? But I found out years later that it was more than just being nice. He did remembered so much so that in 1997, when I introduced the first medical school bill, the Regional Academic Health Center that established the School of Research, the School of Medical Education, the School of Public Health here in the Valley. I went to him because I needed a little over $30 million from the budget, and he said, okay, go see the finance director, the chairman of finance, who was John Montford from Lubbock, Texas. So I took off like a bullet to go look for John Montford in his office, and he was waiting for me outside in the hallway, and Senator Montford said, how in the HELL did you pull that off? And he was talking about all that money. He says, and I thought about it in a flash. It came to me, he says, John Montford, John, it could have been a phone call I made a long time ago. And he didn't know what I was talking about, but he didn't forget that when he needed someone down here, Eddie Lucio was his guy, his man, point person, and I was grateful that he did remember, because that was the start of the first medical school in the Valley, and I was graciously called the father of medical education in the Valley by Colonel Card and others in Harlingen, because I brought the RAC, to the Mid-Valley, it was a great thing. Bullock was hard-nosed. I mean, everybody knew he was the LBJ in state government, but I always thought he was a little stronger than the former president and a lot wiser. But that was my point of view. No offense to LBJ, but Bullock was something special. We worked well together. He appointed me to the finance committee. I had my own chairmanship, which many freshmen didn't have, or even sophomores as they entered the Senate. There was a lot of old timers there, but we got along pretty well, and we did a lot of things together. Moving forward, things change. There was other lieutenant governors, but I must say that my relationship with the first lieutenant governor that we had when I started in the Senate was very special. Gentleman by the name of Bob Bullock. I didn't tell you though that during the term of when he was our state comptroller, he helped me set up a uniform system of how to run county treasurer's offices throughout the state of Texas. I had asked him to do that for us because I was president of the County Treasurers Association of Texas in 1976. So we had some good times together, and all I can say is that I'm glad that I was able to work with people who really cared for the Valley and had a word, to go with their name.
Thank you for your memories of the late Bob Bullock.